Hi everyone, this is my heart, and the reason why I wanted to show you is because today we are going to be talking about relationships. And I have to say I am super excited about this episode because the more I meet people and the more they share with me how they're going through their marriages and relationships, I just feel that there is something missing that they are not really understanding. And you know what? The truth is, it is work from both sides. But anyway, I even made my notes and I'm gonna really go through these notes because I don't want you to miss anything. And to be honest, let's face it, the truth is life is a more enjoyable journey when we can share it with somebody, when we can have experiences that we can actually have together that create sort of happy feelings and that make us laugh. And when you look at them back, you just kind of think, yeah, that was really good time. And you know what, of course, after some time, the relationships kind of start settling and they can lose that sparkle and they can lose that appreciation of each other. And I really would like to touch base on every single aspect of it, how no matter whether you are single or whether you are in a relationship that is not really fulfilling you and you feel that there is something really missing, you will know these things that will help you to actually either work on yourself or work together on a relationship with your partner and see where you can take it, see where you can improve it, see how you can really work on it to make it work. And I won't lie to you, I'm going to be honest, because if you are not meant to be for each other and in each other's life, then don't ignore the signs where you feel that this journey is just not going anywhere, and when you start locking each other away from each other and when you really feel that I just don't get that person at all, even when you would like to try, then there are signs that, will show you and you will feel it, where you will realize that you are just not meant to be together, and rather than suffering in a relationship, I strongly believe that it is better not to be in a relationship at all. Okay, but we are here to actually really talk about how you can make a relationship work. And I actually told you already my two categories. So basically, welcome to my actually second part of my what to do when you don't know what to do video, which I did one part actually last week, which was released. You can watch it, but I didn't include relationships there. And the reason why is because they're very specific when it comes to understanding ourselves and how we can actually join the journey together and make it work, make it an enjoyable relationship. There is just much more to it than looking into it from a perspective of is it working, is it not working, that's it, So yes, this is a part 2, what to do when you don't know what to do, and it is going to be about the relationships. So I told you 2 categories already, and I will talk about each category because number 1 is all of you guys that are single, that would like to find a partner, but for some reason, one or another reason, you had no luck, or you met the person and it wasn't the right one. It doesn't matter what it is, there is always a way. Okay, the second category, the second group I would say, is if you are in a relationship and if for one or another reason the relationship is lacking of the happiness and fulfillment that it could really bring to both of you. I'm not only talking about you, because it's both ways. Once you step into the relationship, it is equal how you two fulfill each other. And that's why I will tell you my quote a little bit later, but that's why communication is important and being very honest with ourselves, as well as being honest with the other person straight from the beginning. It can be scary if you sort of throw exactly how you feel, how much you understand yourself, and how much you sort of know about the things that you can deal with, and what you really want, what you don't want. But at the same time, knowing these things will help you to find the right person, because it's all about energies. If we are insecure, we attract insecure people. If we are confident, we attract confident people, and this is how it kind of rotates. If you have positive energy within yourself, you will attract positive person. If you are moody and miserable, and if you are stressed and depressed, most likely you will attract the same person, because you are on the same level. And the reason why is because you understand each other. Now, are you looking for actually someone who understands your suffering, or are you looking for someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, feeling happy and fulfilled in a relationship? I would like you to answer that question, okay? Anyway, the second group is actually if you are in a relationship and for some reason it may not be working. Some things might not be right, because it happens, you know. And I have to say, lately I've been talking to people and they shared stuff with me, and there is always something you can try. But one thing is trying, and second thing is actually doing. And then there is of course help, because there is lots of help around, you know. And I help actually couples to reconnect, and I created 30-day life-changing program where we really tap into the basics, and we kind of really open up the doors that you kind of forgot. You were aware of them in the beginnings, and those little things made so much of a difference. But the longer we are with our partner, the further away we can kind of get. And that's what I help people to really discover, that strength, that connection again. Of course, if it's meant to be, and if you two are strongly connected, okay? You can always reconnect. Again, don't get me wrong, you can, but it requires some work, okay? And of course, the third group is the people that are in a happy and fulfilling relationship. And I'll have a question for you at the end, okay? So let's start. For those who are single, I will be actually sometimes reading my notes, because the way I structured it, I really want you to get most out of it. And I want you to understand what I'm really saying. So, where does it start really? If you are single and if you really want to find the right person, of course it starts with you. I will not lie to you, it does start with you. We have to, in order to attract the right person, we have to feel that we know ourselves. We have to know what we like, we have to know what we don't like. There can be certain sort of dreams, and you can picture the person that you would like to meet, and you can even use the law of attraction. I strongly believe in the law of attraction, and I've done some mood boards, and it's just absolutely amazing when they work, and you're just like, wow, I'm glad I did that, you know. So I would encourage everyone to do the mood boards and play with the law of attraction. But there is a very thin line where we can be pushing actually to attract the right person that we think is going to be right for us, or we are pushing to really meet someone. And you know what pushing means? It sometimes means pushing away. Have you ever wanted someone to change? Have you ever wanted someone to take an action that you thought would be the best for them? And you know what? By pushing them into it, you're actually pushing them further away from taking that action. That's why with families and in relationships, we don't always hear each other. It's a lack of communication. It's a lack of listening skill. Again, I've done a video about listening skill. And you know, the closer we are, the more vulnerable we become, and the more we know about each other, the least we hear any advice that might be actually good. But at the same time, we can only give advice that we understand. So it's coming from our heart, from ourselves, from our beliefs. It does not necessarily mean that it is a good thing for the other person. And I would like you to remember that, because that is the deepest truth that anybody can learn. You know, you can only become an example to the other person and live your life so that it really fulfills you. It really gives you something. It guides you towards being a better person, but you can never push someone else to do something that they don't want to do. Okay? So that's the first one. Understanding yourself. Work on yourself. Know yourself. Because when you do, and mainly when you accept yourself, you really can share more openly. You don't hide behind, you don't pretend to be someone you are not. You just enjoy life. You enjoy your own company, you enjoy being with yourself, and if you have confidence issues, you can seek help, and it doesn't take long, you know. It is really mind-blowing how little we can do for ourselves to actually become more confident, to become more filled with ourselves, you know, because each one of us are different, and we are all unique and beautiful in our own way. So yes, understand yourself. Now, I did talk about know what you like, what you don't like. I believe that it is very important to know what you like, what you don't like, so that you can actually show and guide the other person towards either doing things that you like more and doing those things that you don't like less, you know. And the same way the other way around. Of course, if you know yourself and you know what you like, what you don't like, you have to be willing to actually learn this about the other person. It makes sense, right? And this is where the right balance comes in, yeah, which is very important. Because if you don't communicate, the other person can only be assuming, they can only guess, but you know how it makes you feel when someone doesn't get you, when someone does something that you really, really don't like, and the opposite. You know, if you know what gives you pleasure or what makes you happy, those little things, those little sort of like, I would say, pieces of information, so useful information where you can actually share, I really like that what you did, you know, it really made me feel good. Or when you are able to say, that did not make me feel very good, could you please not do that again? And you know, there is always a way of communicating. Again, I've done actually a video about communication. You might find that useful. So knowing what you like, what you don't like, gives you opportunity to actually share it with the other person, and at the same time be open to actually learn about the other person too. Because that creates sort of, I would say, curiosity. Like, what can we do together? How we can create those beautiful experiences that will leave us with unforgettable memories. And you know what? When you work on it together, the energy that flows throughout the relationship, you know, inside out and left and right and everywhere, it is beautiful. It is beautiful, and it doesn't take too long. But if it's not in you, it's something that you might want to learn. But once you learn it, you become better at it, and you know, it doesn't become an issue or a difficult or sort of embarrassing situation to talk about it. So think about it, okay? What do you like? What don't you like? And then I've got another one, which is know what you want. And yeah, I would say you can picture the other person, and I truly believe that within ourselves, whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, we know who we feel attracted to. We know what the guy or the girl looks like, no matter whether we are a man or woman. You, inside you, your body, your mind, the chemistry that's going on within yourself, you know what kind of person really attracts you. So you can potentially create some mood boards and use the law of attraction. That's absolutely fine. At the same time, I would like to warn you, don't have too high expectations. Life will not always give you what you ask for, and that's when you are being tested. So even if you meet someone that you thought were right, and it turns out that there is something you're questioning it for a reason. Yeah, it's just, you know, inside you, it just shows you, it just kind of goes in and out. And maybe the reason is that you were meant to learn something from that person, and they were meant to learn something from you. I strongly believe that when you meet the right person, you feel it right there. You feel it there, and your brain is always trying to talk to you. Does it make sense? You know, is it gonna work? I don't really understand it. This is all that we've created. Our brain and our mind is the reflection of our beliefs and the communications we've been having with other people, and what we are consuming as a society that obviously has been out there forever, and it's kind of getting a little bit out of control because we are being completely brainwashed everywhere. I mean, come on, I watch YouTube, I want to watch songs, and they put 2 adverts there because 1 is not enough. What do you think that's doing? Of course it's getting up to your unconscious mind, and it's digging in there, and you remember it, and you pick up on it when you least like expect it, like, oh, I've heard that advert there. This is like, that's how controlled we are by those that understand advertising, marketing, and how to run the societies, and how to run the world, basically, how to make people follow what they want us to do. And I choose not to do that. And the reason why I'm talking to you is because we are just not being our true selves, because we are being injected with all these information that we are pushed to believe in. You know, all the drama that's happening in the world. It's a circle. It's a circle. They will remind us again, all over again, all over again. And then someone somewhere is obviously going to follow and do something bad again and again and again. It's a circle. But, you know, when you think about it, when we were little, there was nothing in our brain. Nothing. There was only what the genetics left us with. And then it's the development when we grow, and what we put in and what others feed us with, that's what we become. Okay? So I don't watch news, I don't really listen too much to the radio, just out of curiosity every now and then, what's going on, what drama we are going through. But that's why law of attraction can work if we free up our mind. And when it comes to finding the right person, you can be putting sort of obstacles in the way, as he's got to have that, he's got to do that, he's got to be like that, you know. But not always you are ready for that person, and it depends where you are on your life journey, that's what you're gonna get. So I would say, try to keep it simple, try to keep your options open, and I would say listen carefully to anyone that you meet, because then sometimes we want to talk a lot, we want to talk about ourselves, people love talking about themselves, but basically in silence you actually really feel the other person, no matter who it is, and that is the feeling, that is the deeper understanding of who the other person really is from within themselves. We can be talking a lot, of course we've got words to use, many, some less, some more, but no, when you look at each other and when you feel each other, that's when you know. Okay, I know it's a bit deep, but yeah, I would say we've got many expectations, but pull back and maybe just feel, because from that space, from within you, you will be able to recognize what the other person is like and how it really makes you feel. So yeah, compromise. Don't expect too much compromise, okay? And if you're meant to learn some lessons, you will learn some lessons anyway. So, you know, you will meet the person that you think is completely right, and then it turns out that it's not necessarily. Fine, okay, you know what? Say thank you. I've learned, now I'm gonna move on. And don't get stuck in regrets or holding back or trying to get the person back just because you felt comfortable there. I would really encourage everyone to be very honest with ourselves when it comes to how we feel about each other, especially when it comes to choosing a partner for the rest of your life. It is important, you know, if you want to have a little bit of fun every now and then you know, obviously you're not looking for someone long term, but if you are looking for that soulmate, then pay attention to how that person makes you feel. Pay attention to how much they talk and what they say and how they say it, and also pay attention to how they treat others, because that's probably, especially with men and women, it's kind of, yeah, it can be that, you know, how they were treated as a child, they will treat you. And in the same way, how boys treat their moms is how they're going to treat their wives. How the girls treated their father, that's how they're going to treat their husband. So there's a connection in there. Of course, we all have different stories, but there is always that kind of a wave of the genetics going through our bodies, through our energies. So, you know, everybody's on a different journey, but that is in us somewhere there. Okay, so pay attention to that. Anyway, I've got a few tips for you actually, for those single ones who are looking for the right person. Of course, work on yourself, because that's the key. But I'm just reading my notes because I've read it. I've written really carefully, and I was like, look for yes, yes, yes. So I would definitely encourage you to look for the other half, but don't push it. As I said, pushing means pushing away. And if we are trying to just attract someone that we think we need, you might attract the wrong person. And priority, of course, is to really understand yourself. I cannot really express it more, because when my story is that I was with somebody for 5 years. He was probably the only boyfriend at the time I had. I didn't have that many boyfriends in my life. And we were together for 5 years. First year was a real roller coaster. And I should have paid more attention to it, because it was probably an eye-opening, but I was blind, I was in love. But then I didn't pay attention to very important events that happened throughout those 5 years. And I would say 3 actually. The first year was a really nightmare, and the 2 after that I should have paid more attention to how I felt. I didn't. What I listened to was, I wanted deep inside, I was always injected by, you know, you've got to find a partner, you've got to get married, you've got to have kids, you've got to settle, you've got to have a house, you've got to have a good job. You know what, it's 21st century, I couldn't care less about whatever everybody's planning or have been planning for their life, but that's not my story. However, when I was with that person, it took me a long time to realize that that person wasn't right for me. And that's fine, because now I understand it. But back then, when I look at myself when I was younger and I wanted all of this and I was planning it, and you know what, when that person turned out not to be the right one for me, my whole world collapsed. And that's why I suffered. And I suffered for 2 years until I felt actually that I did let go. There is always that kind of hope that the person will come back, and we want them to come back because we feel comfortable there, because we know them. But the main question is that person right for me? Because most likely there is the opposite question, am I actually right for them? It's a very important question to ask, you know, and it really takes 2 to work on a relationship. So yes, 5 years relationship. After 3 years, the first time I thought actually I should really end it, and then it took me another 2 years actually to do it. Then I did it, and it took me another 2 years to actually get over it. Now if you imagine that's 365 days, that many times round, well, that's why I'm talking to you right now. That maybe you want to think about your relationship and where are you on your journey, how much you understand yourself and how you can understand yourself. And I can help you with that. If you need help, then reach out. We can work on it together to really get you settled before you start looking for the right person that you will actually want to attract, that will understand you just as much as you can understand yourself. Okay? And it's a learning process, so don't be afraid. Okay? So anyway, know yourself. You can attract the wrong person, and work on yourself and accept others because they're different. That's okay. Everything is a learning curve, and it doesn't matter one or the other way. You will learn from it, you know. But if you don't give up, you will find the right person. Okay, second group, I would like to talk about the relationship that feel for some reason that there is something missing. And the reason why I created my 30-day life-changing program is because it doesn't take long to actually get too busy and not realize that there is something wrong in our relationship. And I can see it all over again and again and again, and you feel the energy between the couples, and you know, one opens up, and it's just again circle that people go in. But the thing is, if you want to really work on a relationship where something isn't quite right, you've got to go to the roots where it all started. And the problem is that it's our human nature is we tend to ignore those little shivers that we get, you know, that you feel right there, where it's you kind of feel that something isn't quite right, and that your life is slipping away, and that the connection with the other person is getting more further rather than closer. And yes, you live in the same house, yes, you may have children, and you might have savings or whatever, you might have car together, whatever it is, you have life together, but you just kind of feel that something is getting a little bit wonky. And it's really sad when people don't pay attention to it at the beginning, because it can really grow and then explode, and the mess that can be, and obviously divorce scenario, it can be a divorce. And I believe that people can work on a relationship. On the other hand, if they can't really communicate, and if they cannot come to agreement and sort of balanced and harmonized, let's say, way of living together, then I just strongly believe that there is no point. Both souls and other souls that are in the family will be suffering. Now, there is just no point in that. No. If you are ready to work on a relationship, and if the other person is worth it for you, and if you see that yes, we can make it work on it. Don't give up on it, because it's just so easy to run away, so easy to give up, you know, throw it all in the bin and just hide away. But no, it will leave you with scars. It will leave you with those memories. It will leave you with doubts and regrets. Was there anything I could have done? And you know what? Unless you try to do something about it, and you become an example to the other person that you really want to make it work, then it just really leaves you very unhappy if you don't do that. And of course, it's important for the other person to do the same if you really want to make the relationship work. But sometimes not both parties are actually prepared for it. And that's also another story, because you can try, you can keep trying, you can keep pushing. Again, pushing can be a way. But if the other person is so locked up, then it just becomes really impossible and very hard to work on something. Anyway, I want to talk to you how you can actually pay attention to your relationship. And when I wrote my love sort of explanation of what love means for me, I thought I'd need to actually, I also explained it a little bit more what I mean by each one. But if you look at every single one, and if you look at your relationship and you answer where you are within each section, within each meaning, then you will know where you stand. Then even your partner will know where he stands or she stands. You know, it's both ways. But knowing this gives you opportunity, it gives you advantage of being able to address where the situation is, how much you love each other, how balanced your life is, how much you care about each other. So I'll just read it to you, okay? So, my love quote is, love is caring, love is sharing, love is understanding, love is accepting, love is communication, and love is appreciation. I will read it again because I think it's quite deep. Love is caring. We've got to care for each other. No matter how hard times can be, you have to care for each other. If you really commit to a relationship, and if you really care about the other person, care properly. Care from the bottom of the heart. No matter how grumpy they are, no matter how angry they are, care for them. Sharing. Love is sharing. It's not only about sharing house, sharing food, sharing whatever, car. It is sharing experiences. It is sharing how we feel. It is sharing our plans, our visions, our dreams, our goals. It's sharing how we feel about certain situations, you know. Sharing is important because it creates understanding of each other. And when you understand each other, that is just so nice. Because you know, you don't need to second guess, you know. Yeah, anyway, I've got to go further because all of this that I'm kind of slipping into is actually here. Next one is understanding. And I will tell you, when you understand yourself as a priority, you understand others more. And I cannot really express more how important that is, how that helps you to understand each other, how it helps you to understand people around you, how it helps you to understand the world and the situations, and why people act and react certain way, and why there are arguments when, you know, of course we need arguments, sometimes you just need to explode and let it all out. But if you understand, it puts you into a situation where you are actually able to control what may happen. You know, you can choose and decide actually whether you want to fire up back, whether you want to kick back, and whether it's worth it, really. So understanding is important. Then there is accepting. The truth is, guys, everybody's different. You've got to accept it. Accept yourself for who you are, and accept the fact that someone else is someone else, and they have their life, they have their beliefs. And yeah, it can be challenging, especially if you live with a person that has slightly different points of views. But you can create sort of balanced life. There are certain discussions that there is just no point of discussing, but you know, accept that this is the truth. Yeah, there is nothing that you can do about it. If someone's different, someone's different. And there are, how many people there are in the world? Yeah, many. And everybody's different. Everybody's different. We get on with some people more, we don't get on with some people, and that's okay, you don't have to spend too much time with them. So, you know, acceptance. Yes, love is definitely acceptance too. Next one, communication. I will tell you that communication is the key. And I mentioned it, I did a video about communication, and it helps you to express yourself properly. Not to be afraid of having any difficult or challenging discussions that you may be having. And throughout our life journey, come on, there will be, and probably have been, quite a few. And communication is really going to get you much further than any argument. When you learn to communicate, even now, I have to say, I'm going to say thank you to my friend Rita, actually, because I did ask her how she managed to build up such trust with her daughter. And she said, pure communication. And that is a mother and daughter. Imagine what can happen between two adults when they learn to communicate as a child and a parent, or as two children. It doesn't matter. Communication is so important. And I can just encourage you to watch my video, actually, where you will be able to find out a little bit more about what I mean. But when it comes to relationship, I feel that communication is so missing, and that's where it goes wrong. If you don't communicate with the other person about how you feel, what you're up to, what plans you have and everything, and if they don't communicate back to you, then how can you actually work together to create a life where you can hand in hand walk through it together and happily and fulfilled? Come on, communication is the key. And yeah, I cannot express it more, really, because it just surprises me that it doesn't matter what age we are, we can struggle to communicate. When again, it comes to our own insecurities. So learn to communicate. Not for everyone else, but for you. For yourself. Because when you do that, you will see what happens. You will be in a better position of actually finding the way through anything that comes along the way. Okay. Last one, appreciation. How much, simple question, how much do you appreciate that the other person is still in your life? How much do you appreciate sharing house with them? How much do you appreciate walking the life journey next to them? I think that's more than enough to ask, because if you ask yourself these questions, then you will have answer to quite a lot of in-depth in your relationship. So I'm going to leave you with that. Okay? And I've got to mention my 30-day life-changing program, because when I worked with a couple, it was really, we started at the right time. It was a father who really lost it a little bit, and it was really nice to actually be there and helping them and be hearing how they really honestly felt. And the magic for me happened when they shared their desires, their worries, and their true feelings with me, because that was the healing process for both of them. And the reconnection that happened throughout those 30 days was unbelievable. I could feel it. They could feel it. They shared it with me. And through those 30 days, they actually, every time they did one experience, which means every day you will be sent one experience to do, to accomplish, and pay attention to how it makes you feel. Because it's all about how we feel, you know, that's why we live. To feel good, to feel excited, to enjoy our life, you know. And when you share how you really feel, no matter how worried you are, how stressed you are, that's the healing process. You're allowing that negativity and that what you've been holding in deep down to come out. And that is when the magic happens. So I cannot be more grateful for the couple to actually feel better. And I'm so happy that I could be part of that journey. And I believe that there are many of you that might be watching and thinking, oh, I could do with some change, but I don't know what to start. Well, the life-changing program is for you, and I can guarantee you it will turn your life around. It will make you aware of the little things that you've kind of forgotten were there, that actually make you fulfilled, that make you realize that life is beautiful, and the other person that you've got next to you, if you're ready to work on it together, it is worth it. Okay, so you can PM me actually if you'd like to find out more about the life-changing program and if you'd like to set on it. Okay, so I'll add my email there too. And then let's go further, because yes, I've got my tips, and these tips are quite important, and I'm gonna go straight into it. I'm not gonna waste any more time, because it is important to get these right. Okay, so you're in a relationship and something isn't quite working. My tip number 1, address the issue. Be honest, be open, be true to yourself and to your partner too. There is nothing more important than actually addressing it, recognizing it, and then, obviously, tip number 2, do something about it. It's your choice if you leave it, if it's okay for you, and if it kind of works. But you know if it doesn't, and that's when you need to take an action for yourself or together with your partner. But the journey that you are on is not necessarily the journey that your partner might be on. So once you set yourself on a journey of actually working on yourself and trying to figure things out a little bit, then maybe the other person can follow. And I am not lying, it can help. It can help a lot, because when we work on ourselves, that's when we are becoming an example to others. And it happened with my mum. I worked on myself, I needed help, I sought help, and then she followed. I could mention it many times. You need to go there, it will help you. No, I didn't hear any of it. Obviously, did I say that we are too close to each other? But when I did go, and I just mentioned the offer's there, that is a phone number, and my mum followed. Imagine what that could do to your relationship. And then, yes, when I said do something about it, I'll tell you two things. A, don't cheat. Definitely don't cheat. Come on. I always believe if you don't want someone to do it to you, don't do it to them. And cheating purely means that there is something missing in a relationship. And it is true. And if the other person is not paying attention to it, or if we are not communicating enough, then come on, it's the fault from both sides. But no, don't cheat on anyone. It's just not worth it. It's something is missing. It needs to be addressed. It's an issue. It's a big issue, but cheating does not help, okay? It's a very short solution that is not really solution. And B, don't talk about it with others. If there is a problem, don't talk to others, mainly because it's not going to really help the situation. A, with the people that you are talking to about it, are going to have different perspective about the other person. Now, if you two appear somewhere, the looks that they're going to get are going to speak. Whether you like it or not, they are going to speak. I can guarantee it. It's proven. And so where would you actually go and talk about it? A, with people that will hear you out and that will be professionals. Or, of course, as a priority, even before these people, is your partner. It is your partner. You've got to learn to communicate. And if you don't know how to communicate, prepare yourself, because you can do that, okay? You might not always get the person listening all the time, but if you're patient, it will happen, okay? So yes, 1, don't cheat. B, don't talk about issues in your relationship with others, unless it's a professional, or go and talk to the source, where actually the solution can be found, okay? And 3, tip number 3, if you really don't know what to do, if you really don't know where to go, seek help. The hardest part is when we are trying to figure things out ourselves. And you know what? We can be asking questions all the time, but we cannot always give ourselves the right answers. And although we hold all the answers within ourselves, we need someone there to actually ask the right questions, different questions that we've been asking. Because you can be going in circles asking, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is he so nasty? When somewhere deep inside there is the truth, and you probably know it, but you're not asking the right questions. So seek help. And as I said, I'm offering help to couples because I believe in reconnecting. I believe in building up that sparkle again, bringing the basics back into reality and appreciating the little things rather than wanting the big things, okay? And again, remember, if you're not meant to be together, it's better not to be together, but don't give up on it, because remember the first time you met the person, there was something in it you wanted. So pay attention to that, okay? Right, okay. I will mention actually 3 of my videos that I believe could really help you before I mention actually the happy and fulfilled relationships, those that are actually in happy and fulfilled relationship. But the links, my first video that I would like to really recommend you, men and women, is Understanding Female Cycle. I did it with Gabriella Guglielminotti-Trivell, and it is a deeper understanding of us women and how we go throughout the month through different seasons. Our energy changes, our moods change. Now, gents, if you don't understand this, you might be questioning, oh my god, what's going on with her? She's in the mood again. Well, of course she will be in the mood probably 12 times a year, so you might as well want to know about it when it comes and when it happens, you know. And again, understanding really gives you power to know actually about the other person. So I definitely recommend it, not only to men to understand their women, but also to women to understand themselves. So if you haven't watched it, go and watch that one. And I will add the link at the end anyway, so you can just click and watch it, okay? Next one, learn to listen. In relationships, it is important to listen. We can talk, but listening is a skill, and it really helps you to get deeper understanding of each other. So hold on the fire, don't try to interact too much, especially when the moment is important to really pay attention to it, and listen. Learn to listen. So that's my second video. And Third one, communication is the key. I mentioned it a few times throughout this video, and communication is the key. So how well you can communicate about yourself, about how you feel, how well you can communicate if you don't agree with something. Communication is the key. Again, the link will be down there, okay? Right, and the last question I have, actually, for those that are in a happy and fulfilled relationship. Okay, guys, can you share with us your secrets, how you're actually achieving to live happy and fulfilled life in a relationship? Because A, I believe we are all humans. There is always a space for an improvement and always something to learn. And B, only together we can make a difference. So if you are in a happy relationship, you feel fulfilled, and you know you are really giving each other, swapping that energy, positive energy and love throughout the years, share your secrets. Just write it down, you know, share it with others so that they can create or work on creating that happy relationship too. Because there is no need to be fighting the battle. I believe that there are many of you that are happy, and let's share it, okay? So yes, I think I covered everything that I wanted. I know I've been reading my notes, but I believe that you understand why, because there were many points that I wanted to point out and really didn't leave out. So I hope you found it useful, and please do reach out if you need any help, because the worst thing is to be battling it by ourselves. And also, the 30-day life-changing program, it will help you to get more clarity about everything, about little things. It will move you from where you think you were to where you really actually are. And then you can really do something about it. But we need to become very present, very balanced, very focused, very kind of in peace, in harmony, to be able to see it, feel it, and be able to do something about it. Okay? Be honest to yourselves, guys, because there is nothing more important than that. And join me next week for my next video. And in the meantime, look after yourselves, okay? Because there is no one more important than you on your own life journey. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can keep up with all the videos that I'm posting, because you never know when it may help you, or when that information that I'll be sharing might help someone else, so feel free to share it with them, okay? Take care for now, and I will be in touch next week. Bye!